Chapter 1. Return to Willow Bay. The sun was setting as Lily drove into Willow Bay, the sky streaked with hues of orange and purple. It had been 3 years since she last crossed the town's old cobblestone bridge, yet every corner held a memory of her and Michael, her late husband. The sight of the quaint coffee shop where they had shared countless dates made her heart ache. She parked her car in front of her childhood home, the white picket fence peeling a bit more than she remembered. Lily took a deep breath before stepping out, the salty air filling her lungs. As she walked up the path, her mother Helen appeared in the doorway, her face lighting up. "Finally, my Lily's home," Helen exclaimed, wrapping her in a warm embrace. "It's good to be back, Mom," Lily managed, her voice muffled against her mother's shoulder. They spent the evening unpacking Lily's things and talking about her plans, or rather her lack of them. After dinner, they settled in the cozy living room, tea in hand. "Have you thought about what you'll do now?" Helen asked, her voice soft, careful. "I'm not sure yet, Mom. I just need some time to figure things out," Lily replied, staring into her tea. "You know, there's the community center," Helen suggested gently. "They've been looking for someone to help organize the winter festival." Lily sighed. "Maybe. I'll think about it. I need to feel like I'm moving forward, not just filling time." Helen reached over, squeezing her hand. "Just give it a chance, honey. It could be good for you to be involved with the community again." As they spoke, the old wall clock ticked steadily, marking the passing time, reminder of both what was lost and the potential of what lay ahead. "Mom, do you ever feel like life is just passing by? Like you're watching it from the sidelines?" Lily asked quietly. "All the time," Helen admitted with a small laugh. "But I've also learned that sometimes we're exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it." Lily nodded, the weight of her mother's words settling around her. Maybe starting slow in Willow Bay was exactly what she needed. Perhaps helping with the festival wouldn't be just filling time, maybe it would be her first step forward. They spent the rest of the evening sharing memories of Michael, laughing and crying in equal measure. It was late when Lily finally went to her old room. She opened the window to let in the night air and listened to the gentle waves of the bay. As she lay in bed, the familiar comfort of home began to ease the sharp edges of her grief. Tomorrow she would visit the community center. For tonight, it was enough to be home, surrounded by the love and familiarity that only Willow Bay could offer. The following morning, the sun filtered through the gauzy curtains of Lily's childhood bedroom, casting soft patterns on the quilted bedspread. She lay there for a moment, watching the dance of light and shadow, finding a momentary peace in the stillness of the morning. After a quick shower, Lily dressed in simple jeans and a cozy sweater, the kind of attire that whispered of weekend coffee runs and casual bookstore browsing. Descending the stairs, she found her mother in the kitchen, humming a tune from their favorite old radio show while flipping pancakes. "Smells amazing, Mom," Lily said as she entered, the familiar scent wrapping around her like a warm hug. Helen smiled over her shoulder. "Just like old times, isn't it? Sit down, I'll have these ready in a jiffy." As they ate, the conversation meandered from trivial town gossip to more pressing local issues like the upcoming winter festival. Helen was particularly animated about the event, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It's just not been the same since Mrs. Dawson moved to Florida," Helen explained, her voice tinged with nostalgia. "She used to spearhead the whole thing. Now there's a bit of a gap, and well, everyone's feeling it." Lily sipped her coffee, the warmth of the mug seeping into her palms. "Maybe I could help out a little. Just to get my feet wet, you know? That would be wonderful," Helen exclaimed, clapping her hands in delight. "Oh, Lily, you have such a knack for organizing. Remember the spring dance in high school? You practically did everything." A laugh escaped Lily, the memory of streamers and misplaced punch bowls flooding back. "I guess I did, didn't I? Maybe I should drop by the center today and see what they need help with." "Darling, that would be fantastic. And it'll be good for you, mingling with the town again, feeling part of something," Helen said, her tone encouraging. After breakfast, Lily helped clear the table and wash up, the simple domestic tasks grounding her in a way that felt both necessary and nurturing. She then grabbed her coat and keys, waving goodbye to her mother as she stepped out into the brisk morning air. The town center was only a short walk from her house, the streets familiar yet dotted with new shops and faces. As she passed the old bookstore, a pang of sorrow mixed with fondness struck her. It was Michael's favorite place in town. Maybe one day soon she could go in without her heart feeling like it was being squeezed in a vice. Reaching the community center, she hesitated at the door, taking a deep breath to steady herself. It was time to step forward, time to start anew. With a determined push, she opened the door, stepping into the warm, bustling atmosphere of Willow Bay's heart. Inside, she was greeted by faces, both new and old, each smile, a thread pulling her back into the fabric of community life. It wasn't just about filling time. It was about reconnecting, healing, and maybe, just maybe, finding a way to move forward with her life. An unexpected arrival. As Lily settled into the rhythm of life in Willow Bay, half a continent away, Ethan Carter, a star known for his dazzling on-screen romances, was packing his bags in a luxurious, starkly modern Beverly Hills mansion. The constant buzz of his phone and the flashing lights of cameras at every turn had finally taken their toll. Ethan needed an escape, a place where no one knew his name, where he could be just another face in the crowd. He had heard about a small remote town from a fellow actor, perfect hideaway called Willow Bay. The journey was long, the skies turning from clear blue to a tapestry of twilight stars as Ethan drove. His sports car, hardly suitable for the rougher country roads, was a stark reminder of how far he was from his usual environment. He arrived late, the only guidance his headlights slicing through the darkness. The quaint bed and breakfast that would be his home for the next few weeks stood at the end of Main Street, its windows glowing warmly. Ethan checked in under a pseudonym, a nod to his need for privacy. The owner, a kindly woman named Mrs. Fletcher, gave him a curious glance but respected his anonymity. She showed him to a room with views of the sleepy town below, its streets, quiet and undisturbed. The following morning, Ethan ventured out to explore. The crisp air was a refreshing change from the smog of Los Angeles. He pulled his cap down low, hoping to blend in as just another tourist or perhaps a visiting relative. The small-town charm was palpable, with shop fronts decorated with care and locals greeting each other by name. His first stop was the local cafe, a place buzzing with the gentle hum of morning chatter. As he ordered a coffee, he couldn't help but overhear conversations about the upcoming winter festival. The community's excitement was infectious, and a part of him longed to experience such simple joy and camaraderie. Sitting at a corner table, he sipped his coffee, watching through the window as life unfolded at a pace so different from his own. It was here, amidst the slow turning of the day, that Ethan felt the first stirrings of peace in a long time. His solitude was interrupted by a cheerful voice. "You're new around here, aren't you?" The speaker was an elderly man, his eyes bright with unspoken stories. "Yes, just visiting for a bit," Ethan replied, his voice low. "Well, you've picked a good time. The winter festival is something special. Brings the whole town together." "You planning to check it out?" the man asked, his demeanor open and friendly. "I think I might," Ethan said, a genuine smile breaking through his cautious exterior. The man nodded approvingly. "Good for you. Enjoy your stay, son." As the man left, Ethan felt a surprising sense of inclusion. Willow Bay might just be the retreat he had been searching for, a place to mend the frayed edges of his fast-paced life. Little did he know, just a few streets over, Lily was deep in preparations for that same festival, her spirit gradually reconnecting with the community she had once thought to leave behind. Their paths were yet to cross, but the small town's fateful weave had already begun to pull them towards an inevitable meeting. Ethan spent the rest of the morning wandering the streets of Willow Bay, his presence unnoticed by the locals, who were busy with their daily routines. He passed by the bookstore with its window display of classic novels and contemporary bestsellers, the flower shop where fresh blooms perfumed the air, and the old movie theater that was showing a black and white film festival. As he walked, Ethan felt an unfamiliar ease. It was liberating to be just another person in the crowd, without the weight of expectations or the glare of the spotlight. Each step took him further away from his celebrity status and deeper into the anonymity he craved. By noon, he found himself at the edge of the town park, where families gathered for picnics and children played near the fountain. He bought a sandwich from a nearby deli and sat on a bench, enjoying the simple pleasure of watching the world go by. It was during these quiet moments, Ethan realized how much of his life had been lived at an unsustainable pace. Willow Bay offered a stark contrast with its unhurried tempo and tight-knit community spirit. He could see why his fellow actor had recommended this retreat was not just a place to hide, but a place to heal. As the afternoon wore on, Ethan's thoughts turned to the upcoming winter festival. The local man's words echoed in his mind, stirring a curiosity about the community celebration. Perhaps participating even in a small way would provide a deeper connection to the town and its residents. It could also be a way to give back to the place that was offering him sanctuary. Eager to learn more, Ethan returned to the cafe where he had breakfast. The barista, recognizing him from the morning, greeted him with a friendly nod. "Back for more of our coffee?" "Actually, I was wondering about the winter festival," Ethan replied, his tone casual. "I heard it's something not to be missed." "Oh, definitely," the barista enthused. "It's a big deal here. There's going to be a craft fair, a bonfire night, and even a charity raffle. You should definitely check it out." "Sounds like fun," Ethan remarked, a smile tugging at his lips. "Maybe I'll see you there." "Wouldn't miss it for the world," the barista replied with a grin. Thanking her, Ethan left the cafe with a newfound interest in the festival. He decided to volunteer, thinking it might be a good way to engage more with the town. A quick stop at the community center got him signed up to help with the festival setup. It was a small step, but for Ethan it felt significant. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over Willow Bay, Ethan walked back to his temporary home. He felt lighter, his heart a bit fuller. Unbeknownst to him, his path towards a more grounded life was about to intersect with Lily's, another soul seeking solace and renewal in the heart of the small town. Their shared journey was just beginning, with the winter festival set to weave their lives together in unexpected ways. The bookstore encounter. Lily's involvement in the winter festival preparations brought a new energy to her days. Each morning she walked to the community center, her mind buzzing with ideas and her heart lightened by the friendly faces that greeted her. With each passing day, her sorrow felt less like a weight and more like a companion she was learning to live with in her new life. On a chilly morning, as the first frost hinted at the coming winter, Lily decided to stop by the old bookstore to pick up some classic novels that could be auctioned off at the festival. The bookstore, with its creaking wooden floors and shelves heavy with books, had always been a place of comfort for her, filled with memories of lazy afternoons spent browsing with Michael. As she pushed open the door, the familiar bell chimed overhead, and the warm scent of old paper and coffee enveloped her. The store was quiet, save for a solitary figure browsing in the far corner. Lily approached the counter where Mr. Peters, the elderly bookstore owner, was poring over a ledger. "Good morning, Mr. Peters," Lily greeted him, her voice soft but cheerful. "Ah, Lily." "Morning, my dear. What brings you in today? Looking for something specific?" Mr. Peters replied, his eyes twinkling behind thick glasses. "I'm actually here on festival business today. We thought it might be nice to have a classic book auction. Thought I'd pick up some donations from you, if that's all right." Lily explained, her hands clasped together in front of her. "Excellent idea. Let's see what we have. Some of these old gems would love a new home," Mr. Peters said, rising from his stool. He motioned for Lily to follow him into the maze of bookshelves. As they walked, Lily glanced over at the lone customer, noticing his cap pulled low over his eyes. Something about his posture seemed familiar, but she couldn't place where she might have seen him before. They moved past him towards the classics section. Mr. Peters began pulling books from the shelves, describing each one's significance and condition. As Lily listened, she couldn't help but overhear a soft muttering from the corner where the man was browsing. He seemed to be debating between two books. Curiosity piqued, Lily excused herself from Mr. Peters and walked towards the man. As she drew closer, she recognized the cover of one of the books he held was one of Michael's favorites. Both are excellent choices, Lily said, hoping to sound casual. But that one on the right is a personal favorite of mine. The man looked up, his surprise evident as he met her gaze. For a moment, they just looked at each other, an unspoken connection flickering between them. Thanks, he replied, his voice smooth and carrying a hint of gratitude.
I've heard good things about it. It settled then. I'm Lily, by the way, she introduced herself, extending her hand.
Ethan, he said, shaking her hand, a gentle firmness in his grip.
I'm new in town.
Just trying to find my way around the good reads and the good spots. Well, you've definitely started in the right place, Lily smiled, feeling unexpected ease in his presence.
They chatted briefly about books and the charm of Willow Bay, their conversation flowing effortlessly. As they spoke, Lily felt a warmth she hadn't expected, a spark of something new kindled amidst the familiarity of the bookstore shelves. Ethan, equally taken by the genuine kindness in Lily's voice, found himself wishing the conversation wouldn't end. As they parted ways, both felt the subtle threads of fate weaving around them, drawing them inexplicably together in the heart of Willow Bay. After their initial encounter in the bookstore, Lily and Ethan found themselves unexpectedly hoping to cross paths again. Lily left the bookstore with a small stack of carefully chosen books under her arm, her thoughts occasionally drifting back to the pleasant conversation with the stranger named Ethan. There was something intriguing about him, something that resonated with her in a way she hadn't expected. Later that day, as Ethan strolled back to his bed and breakfast, he found himself reflecting on his interaction with Lily.
Her warm demeanor and genuine interest in his choice of books had left a deep impression on him.
He hadn't planned on making connections in Willow Bay, intent instead on solitude and escape. But something about Lily piqued his curiosity and urged him to reconsider his plans for complete seclusion. The rest of the week saw Ethan exploring more of Willow Bay, often guided by suggestions Lily had mentioned during their conversation. He visited the local art gallery, the quiet park by the river, and even found himself at the community center where a poster announced the upcoming Winter Festival, the same event Lily was helping to organize.
One crisp morning, drawn by a newfound routine and perhaps the hope of seeing Lily again, Ethan revisited the bookstore.
This time he delved deeper into the sections that Lily had recommended. As he flipped through a novel she had spoken highly of, he realized how much he looked forward to their next meeting, wondering if it would carry the same easy camaraderie as their first. Meanwhile, Lily continued her work with the festival, her days filled with planning and organization. However, thoughts of Ethan and their bookstore chat often drifted through her mind.
She found herself watching for him around town, half expecting to see him around every corner. The anticipation of another encounter added a flutter of excitement to her days, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. Their paths finally crossed again at the local cafe.
Ethan was seated at a corner table, lost in a book, when Lily walked in to grab a coffee before heading to a meeting at the community center.
Recognizing him instantly, her heart skipped a beat. "Ethan," she greeted, her voice carrying a mix of surprise and delight.
Ethan looked up, a smile spreading across his face as he saw her approaching.
"Lily.
How are you? I've been exploring some of the places you mentioned."
"I'm glad to hear that. How are you finding Willow Bay so far?"
Lily asked, joining him at the table. "It's been wonderful, really."
"Much more peaceful than the city."
"And the community here seems really close-knit," Ethan responded, his eyes holding hers a moment longer than necessary. As they chatted over coffee, their conversation meandered from books to personal stories, gradually peeling back layers of their lives. Ethan shared more about his life as an actor and his need for a break from the limelight, while Lily opened up about her late husband and her journey back to finding joy in life. The cafe's warm ambiance and the soft background music created an intimate atmosphere, fostering a connection that felt both exciting and natural. As they parted ways that day, both Lily and Ethan felt a growing bond, an unexpected friendship blossoming amidst the quaint charm of Willow Bay. The seeds of a deeper relationship were sown, promising new beginnings and a winter festival that would soon bring them even closer together. As the winter festival drew near, the atmosphere in Willow Bay was filled with a festive buzz. Strings of lights hung between lampposts and colorful banners fluttered from shop fronts. Both Lily and Ethan, each absorbed in their own rediscovery and explorations, found themselves increasingly intertwined with the town's seasonal preparations.
One cold morning, just days before the festival, thick, heavy clouds rolled in from the sea, casting an ominous shadow over Willow Bay.
Weather warnings of an impending blizzard began to circulate, stirring a mix of excitement and apprehension among the townsfolk. The crisp winter air was soon charged with the electric sense of an oncoming storm.
Lily spent the morning at the community center finalizing the last-minute details of the festival.
The threat of bad weather added urgency to her tasks as she coordinated with vendors and volunteers to ensure everything could proceed smoothly, regardless of the weather.
Her phone buzzed constantly, texts and calls coming in from concerned participants. Meanwhile, Ethan ventured out to the local bookstore to pick up a novel he'd been eyeing, hoping to have something to read during the snowy days ahead. The sky was a steel gray, and the wind whipped around corners with a biting chill.
As he walked, he felt a sense of unease settle over him, the weather turning more foreboding by the minute. Just as Ethan reached the bookstore, the first snowflakes began to fall. They were small and light at first, but grew in size and intensity as minutes passed. Inside, the bookstore was a sanctuary of warmth and calm. Mr. Peters, the owner, greeted him with a knowing smile. "Looks like we're in for quite the storm, Ethan." "Best place to be is right here with a good book," Mr. Peters remarked, nodding towards the window where snow was now rapidly accumulating. Ethan nodded, picking up his book and glancing out the window.
"Seems like it. It's getting worse out there."
Back at the community center, Lily received a call from the local weather service advising them to postpone the festival. With a heavy heart, she began the process of informing everyone involved, her mind racing through the logistics of rescheduling and managing the fallout. As the snow continued to blanket the town, Lily decided to check on the bookstore, knowing Mr. Peters was likely there alone. Wrapping her scarf tighter around her neck, she stepped out into the swirling snow, her boots crunching on the quickly forming blanket of white. By the time she arrived at the bookstore, the blizzard was in full force, visibility reduced to mere feet in front of her. Pushing open the door, she was greeted by the cozy warmth inside and the sight of Ethan, book in hand, looking up in surprise.
"Lily,
"What are you doing out in this?"
Ethan's concern was evident as he quickly crossed the room to her.
"I came to check on Mr. Peters. But it looks like I might be stuck here for a while," Lily said, brushing snow from her hair. Mr. Peters chuckled from behind the counter.
"Well, I can't think of better company or a better place to be snowed in. Looks like we're all here together now."
As they settled in, surrounded by walls of books and the gentle crackle of the fireplace, Lily and Ethan found themselves sharing the unexpected shelter. Outside, the blizzard raged on, but inside, a different kind of warmth was beginning to build, warmth that came from new friendships and shared experiences in the face of an unplanned storm. As the snow piled up outside, creating a white blanket that obscured the windows of the bookstore, the inside buzzed with the warmth of human connection and flickering firelight. Ethan, Lily, and Mr. Peters gathered around the hearth, mugs of hot cocoa in hand, courtesy of the small kitchenette at the back of the store.
"Ethan, I've never seen snow like this."
In LA, a little rain causes chaos, let alone a blizzard.
Lily, laughing, "Welcome to the Northeast."
"This is just winter saying hello." "Mr. Peters, it's been a few years since we had one this bad."
"Good thing, I always keep a stash of cocoa and snacks."
"Never know when you'll need to hunker down." "Ethan, I'm glad I ended up here and not stuck in my car or something."
"Though I wasn't expecting to spend my day trapped in a bookstore."
"Lily, there are worse places to be stuck. At least here you have good company and great books." "Ethan, true."
"I'm starting to realize maybe this was exactly where I was supposed to be today." "Mr. Peters, the books do like to keep us company."
"Isn't that right, Lily?"
"Remember how you and Michael would spend hours here during your high school years?"
Lily, a bit wistful, "Yes, we did. He always found the best hidden gems on these shelves."
There was a comfortable silence for a moment as they all sipped their cocoa, the only sound the howl of the wind outside.
Ethan, hesitantly, "I hope it's okay to ask, but Lily, how do you find the strength to move forward?"
After losing someone." Lily, pausing, "Then, it's not always about strength, Ethan. Sometimes it's just about moving, one foot in front of the other. Some days are harder, but places like this, filled with memories and warmth, they help. Ethan, I admire that.
I've been trying to run away from things I can't really escape.
Lily, maybe you don't need to run. Maybe just walking through them, finding spots like this where you can catch your breath is enough. Ethan, you might be right.
It's kind of like finding a safe port in a storm, isn't it?
Lily, smiling, exactly.
And sometimes you find people who can share that shelter with you, even if just for a little while. Mr. Peters, well, if you two talking like this, I might start thinking you're characters from one of my romance novels. They all laughed, the sound mingling with the crackling of the fire, creating a cocoon of warmth against the storm's fury outside. As the evening wore on, they shared more stories, their voices, a soft accompaniment to the blizzard's whistling tune.
Ethan, thank you both of you. I didn't expect today to turn out like this, but I'm grateful it did. Lily, me too, Ethan. It's funny how some days just unfold in ways we never see coming. As the blizzard raged on outside, the boundaries between strangers and friends blurred, their shared experience weaving a thread of unexpected connection in the cozy bookstore haven.
The blizzard continued its relentless assault on Willow Bay, but inside the bookstore, the warmth of the fire and the camaraderie shared between Lily, Ethan, and Mr. Peters kept the cold at bay. As they settled more comfortably into the evening, the small group found themselves drawn into deeper conversations, sharing stories and insights that painted a vivid picture of their lives.
Mr. Peters stirring the fire. You know, this old place has seen many storms, but none quite so lively with good company.
Ethan, Lily tells me you're an actor.
That must be an exciting life. Ethan, it has its moments, Mr. Peters. But it's a lot like any job, really.
There are good days and bad ones. Lily, it's easy to glamorize it from the outside. I guess we all want what we don't have.
Ethan, nodding, exactly. And being here away from all that, it's given me a chance to breathe, to find something real. Mr. Peters, well, you've certainly come to the right place.
Willow Bay might not be Hollywood, but it's got heart. Isn't that right, Lily?
Lily, it definitely does. This town has a way of giving you what you need, even if you don't know you need it.
The conversation shifted as the evening wore on, with Mr. Peters recounting tales of Willow Bay's past, of storms that had shaped the landscape and the people who lived there. Ethan listened, fascinated by the history and resilience of the small town, while Lily found comfort in the stories she had grown up with. As the night deepened, Ethan shared more about his life in Los Angeles, his successes, and the pressures that came with them. Lily listened intently, her earlier curiosity about his world growing into a genuine understanding of the man behind the celebrity.
Ethan, I started acting because I loved stories. I wanted to be part of telling them.
But somewhere along the way, it became more about keeping up appearances and less about the stories themselves.
Lily, I can't imagine what that's like, but it sounds lonely.
Ethan, it can be. Very much so. That's why being here talking like this, it feels right.
It's been a long time since I've had a real conversation that wasn't about promoting something or playing a part. Lily, well, Ethan, no performance is required here.
Just be yourself. Mr. Peters, chuckling, and if you need a new role, I'm sure we can cast you as a regular at the bookstore. We could use a celebrity to boost our book club attendance. The laughter that followed was easy and genuine. As they shared a few more stories, the barriers between them continued to dissolve, replaced by a shared understanding and warmth that extended beyond the glow of the fireplace. As the fire began to dwindle to glowing embers, Lily glanced outside to see the storm had lessened. The world was quiet, blanketed in snow, peaceful and pristine under the moonlight. Lily, looks like the storm is finally letting up. It's beautiful out there, isn't it? Ethan joining her to look outside. It really is. Thanks for sharing this night with me, Lily. It's made all the difference.
Lily, thank you, Ethan. Tonight was unexpected, but somehow exactly what I needed.
As the storm outside began to quiet, the world beneath the moonlight transformed into a serene, snow-covered wonderland. Inside the bookstore, the atmosphere held a quiet anticipation, a gentle tension that Lily and Ethan both felt, but neither fully acknowledged. They lingered by the window, watching as the relentless snow finally settled into a peaceful drift, coating the world in a pristine blanket of white. The fireplace behind them crackled its last, casting fleeting shadows across their faces.
In the silence that followed, they turned to face each other, a moment suspended in time.
Ethan hesitantly, "It's strange, isn't it?"
How a day can turn into something completely unexpected. Lily softly, "The best moments usually are unexpected."
Their eyes met, holding a conversation that words could no longer carry.
The air between them seemed to pulse with the warmth that had built throughout the evening, filled with shared stories and laughter. There was an undeniable pull, a curiosity tinged with the beginnings of something more. Ethan, stepping closer, "I'm really glad the storm brought me here tonight." Lily, her voice barely above a whisper, "Me too." Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Ethan leaned in, his gaze locked on hers, asking a silent question.
Lily's response was a slight nod, a breathless permission. As their lips met, the world around them seemed to fade, the quiet beauty of the snow outside, echoing the gentle surge of excitement that flowed through them.
The kiss was soft, tentative at first, like the tentative flutter of a butterfly's wings testing the air.
But as they grew more certain, the kiss deepened, turning more assured and expressive. It was a kiss that spoke of new beginnings, of possibilities that lay in the quiet aftermath of a shared storm.
It was both an exploration and a discovery, a delicate dance of emotions that neither had anticipated but both eagerly embraced.
As they finally parted, their breath mingled in the cool air of the bookstore, faces lit by the soft glow of the last embers in the fireplace. Their eyes, bright and clear, reflected a mixture of wonder and a hint of laughter, a silent acknowledgement of the unexpected journey their day had taken.
Lily, her cheeks flushed with a gentle warmth, "I didn't see that coming." Ethan, with a light-hearted grin, "Neither did I."
But I'm not complaining.
In that quiet bookstore, surrounded by tales of adventure and romance, their first kiss wove a new story into the fabric of their lives.
After sharing their first kiss, Lily and Ethan found themselves seated once again by the dwindling fire, a comfortable silence enveloping them as they processed the new tender connection that had blossomed between them. As the final logs crackled and popped, Ethan broke the silence, his voice thoughtful and a touch uncertain.
"Ethan, Lily, tonight was unexpected. I mean in the best way possible. But it makes me think about what comes next." Lily, looking into the fire but feeling his gaze, "I know. It's not just about tonight, is it? There's a tomorrow to consider." "Ethan, exactly. And I'm here now in this small, beautiful town, away from all the noise and rush of my usual life. I find myself not wanting to rush back to it. Not yet. Maybe not ever." Lily, turning to face him, her expression open and honest. "I like having you here, Ethan.
It feels right.
But I'm also scared. Things between us moved so fast tonight, and part of me wonders if it's just the storm, the isolation." Ethan, earnestly, "I thought about that too.
But it doesn't feel like just an escape for me, Lily.
It feels like finding something real that I didn't even know I was looking for."
I don't want to ignore that because it's risky.
"I want to explore what this is with you."
Lily hesitantly, "I want that too."
But we both know life isn't just about what we want.
There's the practical side of things.
You have a career, a life that's not here.
And I have my roots in Willow Bay. Ethan, I know, and I'm not asking you to decide anything now. But what if we take the risk? See where this leads without worrying about the final destination.
I'm willing to figure out a way to make it work if you are. Lily, with a soft laugh, "You're asking us to take a leap into the unknown together." Ethan, reaching for her hand, his voice gentle, "Isn't that what life's best moments are made of?"
Leaps into the unknown? Lily looked down at their intertwined fingers, feeling the warmth of his hand in hers and the truth in his words.
She knew there were 1,000 reasons to tread carefully, yet the pull of what could be tugged at her heart. "Lily, it's scary, Ethan. But maybe being scared together is part of the journey."
If we're both committed to taking this one day at a time, then yes, let's see where this road leads.
Ethan, squeezing her hand, relieved and hopeful, "Together then. One day at a time." Their conversation laid a foundation of mutual understanding and cautious optimism. As they continued to talk into the night, discussing dreams and practicalities, the embers of their initial connection kindled into a steady warming flame.
As the first light of dawn broke over Willow Bay, the storm had finally exhausted itself, leaving the town blanketed in a thick coat of snow.
The world outside the bookstore window was quiet, transformed into a landscape of muted whites and soft edges.
Inside, the warmth of the night's shared experiences lingered between Lily and Ethan as they prepared to face the day.
Ethan standing by the window, marveling at the sight. "I've never seen anything quite like this."
"It's beautiful."
Lily joining him, her voice soft with awe. "Willow Bay has a way of surprising you. Just when you think you know it, it shows you something new." They watched in silence for a few moments, appreciating the serene beauty of the town under its snowy shroud.
But the practicalities of the day soon intruded on their quiet reflection.
Lily turning towards Ethan with a slight frown. "We should probably start figuring out how to clear the snow."
"The festival's been postponed, but there's still a lot to organize." Ethan nodding. "Let me help. I want to be part of this, not just for the festival, but for everything it represents. For us." Grateful for his offer, Lily agreed, and together they began the process of contacting the other festival organizers to plan their next steps. The community's response was immediate and enthusiastic, with everyone pitching in to clear paths, salt icy patches, and reschedule events. Ethan was impressed by the tight-knit community's efficiency and spirit, seeing firsthand the world that had shaped Lily.
As they worked, the boundaries between Ethan's old life and his emerging new one began to blur.
The sense of belonging was something he had not felt in a long time, and it anchored him more firmly to the little town and to Lily. Later that day, as they took a break from their efforts, Ethan and Lily found themselves at the local cafe, sipping hot coffee and sharing a quiet corner.
Ethan, his gaze intense and sincere. "Last night and today, being part of this, it's made me realize how much I've been missing." Lily, her eyes meeting his. "You fit right in, Ethan."
"It's like you were always meant to be here."
"Ethan, maybe I was. And maybe I needed the storm to show me where I needed to be."
Their conversation drifted to more personal topics, discussing how they would manage the practical aspects of their burgeoning relationship. Ethan talked about his flexible schedule and the possibility of dividing his time between Willow Bay and his commitments in Los Angeles. Lily expressed her desire to introduce Ethan more formally to the community, suggesting that he could use his expertise to host a workshop or a talk during the rescheduled festival.
"Lily, it could be a good way for you to blend your world with Willow Bay. Share something you love with the town that's become a part of you." Ethan, considering her words, his expression thoughtful. "I like that idea."
"It feels right." After retrieving their belongings from the bookstore, Ethan and Lily continued their walk through the streets of Willow Bay, now bustling with neighbors and volunteers shoveling snow and hanging new decorations for the rescheduled festival.
The air was crisp, carrying the infectious laughter and camaraderie of the community. Lily, pointing to the newly hung lights. "Look at that, the whole town's come alive again."
"It's amazing how everyone pulls together."
Ethan with a smile. "It really is."
Back in LA, neighbors barely know each other's names. Here, everyone's a friend. As they walked, Ethan stopped to help an older man clear the heavy snow from the front of a quaint little shop. Ethan lifting a shovel. "Let me help you with that." Man chuckling. "Well, thank you, young man." "You're Ethan, right? Lily's friend from the big city?" Ethan nodding as he shoveled. "That's right." "It's great to meet you."
"Man, we're glad to have you here. Lily's a treasure to this town, you know."
Takes after her mother. Ethan glancing at Lily with a smile. "I completely agree." They continued their journey, stopping next at a booth where volunteers were organizing handmade crafts for the festival.
Volunteer, greeting them warmly. Lily, Ethan, perfect timing.
"Could you help us set up the sign?" As they worked, Ethan leaned over to Lily, his tone playful yet sincere. "Ethan, so when do I get my official Willow Bay badge?"
"I feel like I'm becoming part of the scenery."
Lily laughing. "Oh, you're earning it right now."
"Everyone in town will know your name by tomorrow." Ethan, I hope they know it for the right reasons. Lily, don't worry, they will.
You're already part of the community.
Helping out, just like everyone else.
As the afternoon turned into evening, they finally took a moment to rest, sitting on a bench with cups of hot cider.
Ethan, Lily, I've been thinking about what you said earlier about hosting a workshop during the festival. Maybe I could run a session on storytelling in film.
It could be a way to share my passion in a meaningful way. Lily, her eyes brightening, that sounds perfect, Ethan. It's a great way to merge your world with Willow Bay.
I know people would love to hear about your experiences. See the person behind the celebrity. Ethan earnestly, and they'd see how important this place and you have become to me. I want them to know that. Lily squeezing his hand, they'll see it, Ethan. Just by you being you.
As they sipped their cider, watching families and friends laughing and working together, Ethan and Lily felt a profound sense of belonging. Their individual journeys had brought them to this moment, to this bench under the twinkling lights of Willow Bay, where the future seemed filled with possibilities, shared dreams, shared responsibilities, and a shared life.
In the days following the storm, Willow Bay sparkled under a bright winter sun, its streets and rooftops glistening with snow.
The rescheduled winter festival was just a day away, and the town buzzed with anticipation and activity. Ethan and Lily took a moment for themselves, stepping away from the bustling preparations to visit the beach, a place where Lily had always found peace and perspective. They walked side by side along the shoreline, the crunch of snow under their boots, mingling with the soft rush of waves against the cold sand. The beach was deserted, offering them a quiet solitude that contrasted sharply with the lively town center.
Lily, her breath forming clouds in the cold air. This place always helps me think.
It's where I came to make sense of things after everything happened. Ethan, looking out over the water, it's beautiful.
I can see why it's special to you.
They found a driftwood log near the water's edge and sat watching the horizon stretch wide and gray before them.
Ethan, you know, before I came here, I felt like I was just going through the motions. Now everything feels intentional, meaningful. Especially being here with you. Lily's smiling softly, I feel the same. You've brought something to my life that I didn't even know was missing. But I also know this us. Simple.
Ethan, I know it's not. But I also know that what we have is worth figuring out the complications. I'm ready for that if you are. Lily, her eyes meeting his earnestly, I am.
But we have realities to consider. I have my roots here and you have a career that spans more than just this town. Ethan, I've been thinking about that a lot. My life in LA, my career. It's important to me, but so is this. So are you. I believe we can find a balance. I can work from here part of the time, and you could come to LA sometimes.
We could make it a new kind of adventure. Lily, taking a deep breath, her gaze returning to the sea and adventure. That sounds right.
But it's a big step.
Ethan, reaching for her hand, it is.
But I think it's one worth taking. I don't want to look back and wonder what might have been because we were too afraid to try.
Lily squeezed his hand in agreement, her heart buoyed by the possibility of forging a path together despite the challenges.
Lily, then let's not let fear decide for us. We'll take each day as it comes, support each other through the changes.
It won't be easy, but I believe we can make something beautiful out of it.
Ethan with a hopeful smile. Something beautiful, like this place, like us. They sat in silence for a while, each lost in their thoughts, comforted by the steady presence of the other.
As the sun began to set, casting a pale glow across the icy beach, they stood up, ready to head back to town. The quiet confidence that had settled over them felt like a promise to navigate the complexities of their lives together, blending their worlds just as the sea blended with the shore. Hand in hand, they walked back toward the heart of Willow Bay. As Ethan and Lily walked back towards the bustling town center, they paused to witness the sunset, painting its masterpiece across the winter sky. The horizon blazed with streaks of crimson and gold, the colors melting into the cool blues and grays of the icy sea. The world seemed to hold its breath as the sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden glow that danced across the snow-covered beach.
It was as if the day was giving them one final spectacular show, reminding them of the beauty and transience of moments shared.
The sun's descent mirrored the quiet end of their own uncertainties, leaving behind a canvas of possibilities. The cold air was alive with the magic of the twilight hour, each breath they took filled with the crisp, salty scent of the sea. Shadows lengthened and the colors deepened, turning the sky into a vivid tapestry that reflected the fiery hues of their newfound commitment.
As they watched, Lily leaned against Ethan, her head resting softly on his shoulder.
In the breathtaking beauty of the sunset, they found a silent vow, unspoken yet understood, to cherish and navigate the coming changes together. Later, as the last sliver of sun vanished beneath the horizon and the sky transitioned from a fiery spectacle to a tranquil navy, they shared a kiss that captured the excitement of new beginnings.
This kiss, unlike their first, was filled with a charged energy, a fervent promise made under the watchful eyes of the fading day.
Their lips met and a surge of exhilaration swept through them.
The kiss deepened, driven by the rush of their beating hearts, echoing the intense hues that had streaked the sky moments earlier. It was a kiss of exploration and affirmation, a celebration of the steps they were daring to take together. The chill of the evening air contrasted sharply with the warmth between them, each kiss a spark in the gathering dusk. The moment was a beautiful paradox, both the sun and their doubts, setting in unison, giving way to a night filled with stars and the quiet confidence of shared dreams. As they finally pulled away, their eyes, gleaming with reflections of the last light, spoke volumes of the adventures that lay ahead.
In the twilight of the day and the dawn of their relationship, they found a profound beauty, an imprint of the moment, sealed with a kiss under the vast indigo sky. The morning of the winter festival arrived with a clear sky, the air crisp, and the snow reflecting the early light like a blanket of diamonds. The town of Willow Bay had transformed overnight into a festive hub, with stalls decked in twinkling lights and ribbons, the smell of cinnamon and pine wafting through the air. Ethan and Lily, having walked through their decisions and fears under last night's sunset, now approached the day with a renewed sense of purpose and togetherness. Ethan had volunteered to lead a workshop on storytelling and film, tying his passion for cinema to the quaint charm of Willow Bay. As they prepared for the day, their conversation turned to the more immediate future.
Lily helping Ethan set up his workshop space. Are you nervous about today?
Sharing a piece of your world here?
Ethan arranging chairs in a small circle. A bit. It's different when the audience is a community that now means so much more to me. I want them to see why I love what I do, and why I want to share that love here with you, with them.
Lily laying out some promotional materials. They're going to love it.
You're bringing something new to the festival, something exciting. It's a chance for everyone to see a different side of you.
As the sun rose higher, casting golden hues over the town, Ethan's workshop began. Lily watched from the back, her heart swelling with pride as Ethan spoke with passion and clarity, his words weaving the magic of cinema with the stories rooted in Willow Bay. After the workshop, as they walked towards the main festival area, Ethan squeezed Lily's hand.
Ethan, this morning has been amazing, Lily.
But it's made me think about all the mornings we could have together.
I know we said we'd take it one day at a time, but... Lily meeting his gaze, but...
Ethan, but I don't want just days, Lily.
I want years.
I want all of it with you. I think we should make a more concrete plan. I could start by finding a place here, setting down some roots.
Lily, her voice soft with emotion. Are you sure?
That's a big step. Ethan, I've never been more sure about anything. This place, these people, it's where I want to be.
I'm ready to make it official if you are.
Moved by his declaration, Lily felt a rush of joy and a tinge of apprehension.
The festival buzzed around them, a symbol of community and celebration, mirroring their own moment of decision.
Lily, let's do it. Let's blend our worlds together here.
I love you, Ethan.
And I want those years too. Ethan with a joyous smile, then it settled.
I love you too.
The Winter Festival had been a resounding success, marking not only a renewal of community spirit, but also the beginning of a new chapter in Lily and Ethan's lives. As the last lights of the festival dimmed, the town of Willow Bay returned to its quiet, serene self, now filled with the warmth of shared memories and anticipations of what was to come. In the days that followed, Ethan took practical steps towards making his move to Willow Bay more permanent. He began looking into real estate, eager to find a place where he and Lily could start building their future together. Meanwhile, Lily found herself more involved in the town's activities than ever before, her relationship with Ethan bringing her a new sense of purpose and happiness. One crisp morning, as the first hints of spring teased the cold air, Ethan and Lily walked along the beach, where they had made significant decisions just a few weeks earlier. Now they discussed plans for Ethan's housewarming and how they would integrate their lives more deeply. Ethan, pointing towards a cozy cottage by the shoreline, "What do you think?" "That could be our little haven. I can already picture a small studio in there where I can work and maybe even host small film screenings."
Lily, her eyes bright with excitement. "It's perfect, Ethan. I can see us hosting barbecues in the summer, movie nights in the winter. It feels right."
As they planned, their conversation naturally flowed towards deeper commitments.
"Ethan, Lily, I've been thinking a lot about this place.
I know we've been taking things one step at a time, but I feel like all my steps are leading me towards you, towards us together, permanently."
Lily, squeezing his hand, her voice full of emotion. "I feel the same, Ethan. It's like every part of my day now has you woven into it."
"Ethan, so what do you say we make it even more official?"
"Not just moving in, but maybe tying the knot."
Lily paused, the waves crashing softly in the background, providing a soothing soundtrack to the pivotal moment. She looked into Ethan's eyes, seeing there the future they could have together, filled with love, challenges, and shared dreams.
"Lily, yes, Ethan.
"Let's do it. Let's really start our life together." Their decision made, they spent the rest of the day making more plans, their hearts light with joy and the security of their shared love. As they returned home, the setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, a beautiful backdrop to their newfound commitment. In the weeks that followed, Ethan moved into the cottage by the sea, turning it into a home filled with love, laughter, and the occasional aroma of popcorn on movie nights. Their engagement was celebrated by the whole town, with Mr. Peters jokingly claiming credit for their match since it had all started in his bookstore. As spring turned to summer, the wedding plans took shape, and the whole town buzzed with excitement about the upcoming celebration. It was to be a simple yet beautiful ceremony on the beach, symbolizing their journey and the natural progression of their love. The chapter closed on a day filled with soft sea breezes and the laughter of friends and family.
Ethan and Lily stood hand in hand, their vows spoken with the sea as their witness, promising to navigate whatever tides life might bring together.
Their story was a testament to the unexpected turns of life and how sometimes letting go of the map can lead to the most beautiful destinations.